All right, let me know if you have my screen. All right, today is going to be very conversational, so chip in anytime. Aside your final assignment on Bootstrap and CSS, I just want to do this today quickly. You have my screen, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, I want to put everything to perspective. As it stands now, aside from very complicated um, pages, you should be able to design and, in fact, attempt to design all the things you see. And then, if you have any challenge, I'm also going to go briefly towards how you go around Googling and finding solutions to some of the problems you come across. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to memorize everything, you don't have to keep everything in your head. You can always look online for references. Right. That being said, if you see the page you have, if you, assuming you have taken a contract and you're supposed to build it, what will be your first thinking? How will you approach it? It's open floor, so just op- unmute yourself and talk. If you see something like this and you're supposed to build it, how will you approach it? How would you approach something like this if you have an assignment to do something like this? What will be your thinking?
Hello.
Yes, please.
And I think first of all, you'd have to ask the client what he or she basically wants, you know, and that will inform your decision as to how to go about it.
Okay. But the client has given you this. How would you approach it?
So okay, to me, if I see something, if I have the specifications and everything from the client, I would just first of all have a rough sketch
Okay.
before, yeah.
Anybody else? How would you approach it? It means you have this simple site. It's
Okay.
very simple.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. Yes, Godwin.
Uh,
I think that okay, so I think that I mean, as I said,
Bagafungu.
yeah,
Yes, we can hear you.
so I think that so if the client has given us something like this to design, so yes, first of all, I mean, what the only thing that I would probably want to get from the client is just whether the client has a particular image that you want me to show on the background of that particular website.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if I, on the internet, I can create it with that HTML and then add some tag with CSS to it. So the
Mm.
only thing I probably would ask whether the client has that specific image that
Yes.
maybe I can put it on the background because you just
Yeah.
image have black background, basically that's all. And the
Yeah.
rest is just adding some style to it.
Good. Good. Anyone else? Any suggestions?
Okay, for me, I'll ask the client if he or she is having a company logo
All
or
right.
whether
Cool.
yeah,
For this particular side, right? Yeah.
yeah.
You might need the logo that the person wants you to use, right? So yeah, John, very, very important from that side. You will need the person's logo. Yeah. Very important observation. So essentially, anything you don't have, you want to ask the client for it, right? Like like Gordon said, the background image. If you don't have this image, then the client must provide. In fact, the client must provide, right? Yeah, the client must provide. In fact, all right. Any other submission or suggestions?
Okay. Also, concerning the home, I will ask the client if maybe he or she is having a profile or maybe having maybe about their services. If they are having some pictures or something that maybe I can write those descriptions over there, so that
Okay.
maybe when a client go to the website, they can read and know what the
Okay.
website.
Or the other, yeah, the other pages and the links, right? Yes, those other information. So very important. Okay. Yeah, all through. All right. So, I mean, that being said, essentially, you are going to set up a project at the end of the day. I intentionally didn't. I want to go through that with you so that you get the setting up process as well. Um, so first, I will set up a project, assuming that this is somebody's website, personal website. So since we always, it's good to group your things in folders, I will now create a particular folder, right? So I'm in my VS Code. Hope you cannot see me. Yeah. And then what I'll do is that if I want to create in a folder, I mean, I can just first make sure I create a folder. Me, I keep my things in my document. And this particular one is anywhere else. I'll call this one anywhere I can identify. I'll call it personal. I'm creating it in my document and I call it personal site. That's how I'm calling it. So feel free, whatever the client is calling it, you can call it by that name. Does that make sense? So everything is going to be in that folder. Are we all on the same page? It's good to code along or try it along. Any question? I created a folder, open the folder in VS Code. Does anyone have problem with this process so far? No problem. I should think so. Now, first thing, what do you need? You need your first, if you have images, then I can create some folder that will hold the images, right? So I'll create a folder, I'm calling the images, so that I can put all my image resource in that folder. Does that make sense? Right. Then I have my first page, and we say that our first pages, we usually call them what? Index dot what? .html. Any questions so far? If you have any question, just unmute and ask and stop me. So I've created a folder where I keep the whole document. I created a folder, I'm calling it images, and I'm intending to keep all the images there. I've created a single page called index.html, which will contain the main page, right? I have this in mind to do. This is what I want to do at the end of the day. Okay, very good. So this is my index page. This is the first page that I am considering or I want to do for the person. I'm keeping it simple today so that we can finish it up. All right. I'm keeping it very simple so that we can finish it up. Okay. This, we know that it's an HTML document, right? So you will have to name it a doc type.
Please,
right?
I can't see the screen.
Anyone else struggling to? Is anyone also struggling to see my screen? You can you see my HTML page?
Please, no.
So
I can.
you can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Okay. I can
Is
see.
it loading up? Can you see now?
Yes, please.
Right. So my first is I have an HTML page that I've created, nothing inside. I have a folder called images and I have a page called index.html, which is supposed to be the doc type. And then, like, we always need to keep our HTML pages. And the HTML, we have what? Some head tag. And then we have some what? The tag.
Hello, Bryce.
Yes, please.
So just a quick one, just a quick question. So I've seen that you actually type in the boilerplate
Yes,
yourself.
yes, yes,
Not
yes,
just
yes.
type code by the. I mean, you can still go by that way, right? If you
Yes,
prefer.
yes, yes, you can. I actually have that plugin to automatically produce it for me, but I don't want
Okay.
to get anyone confused. So yeah, fine.
Okay.
But if you can come up, if your intelligence can bring it up, please stay with that. All right. Any question? Any questions so far? So this is the basic structure, right? This is the basic structure that we are dealing with. This should be okay for everyone as it stands now. All right. Now we know that practically we need a title, which is usually that display the title on the page. So I can have a title there, then I just put in a text. That text will show when the person comes to the page for the first time. All right. Okay. Any question so far? So we have a head tag, we have our body tag, all inside our HTML. And then we just declare that our element is a doc type. Is that okay as it stands now? The basic structure everyone should be. All right. Now, if you look at it, you know that HTML is for the structure, CSS is for the styling. So first, we can decide that we are going to build the whole body and come and style it, or we can style along. Which of them would you prefer? Any approach works. Is whatever you are comfortable with, you go with that approach. You can decide that you're going to add all the elements and come and style it, or you add them and style them along. Any of the approach is fine. All right. I will just, which one do you want us to do?
Let's see the external one. Since I mean, from so far the discussion we have so far, that is the most appropriate.
Oh, yeah.
I
So
think
that we can all of us.
you should build the structure first, then install it afterwards.
Okay. All right. I mean, Gordon will still do the external, but we just want to add all the elements we'll see inside first, then we'll come and add the external style. Now, first of all, we have two main images, the logo and then the image at the down here. Like Gordon said, if you have the client, you can ask the client for a logo, or for the sake of this, we don't have any client per se. So I'm just going to use an image here, which you can download any. I'm just downloading any star image from Flat Icon, and I'm going to use that in place of that. All right. So, but then feel free. I'm also going to assume that the background has been given to us by the client, and I'm going to use any picture at all. All right. I'm looking for a picture with a high resolution so that, all right, for the sake of today, let's keep it simple. We'll come back to resolution. All right. Then the next thing is that once you have downloaded the images, you know that the image cannot just be anywhere on your laptop and it will still work. Let me see where it needs to be. Oh no, this format is not okay. Let's find another image which is in a format that we can use. Any image that the client gives you is fine. You have to just use what you have been provided with. Alright, I don't know, it's moving into, let me just keep them somewhere. And then, okay. Alright, cool. So these are the two images I've downloaded. I'm copying them and I'm moving them to the folder that contains the project we are doing. We call it personal site. Okay, so I'm going to put them inside images. Right, the first one I'm going to call it logo, please. And remember, it's called logo.png, that's the name. And the next one I'm going to call it background, okay, or BG. But remember, this extension is WebP, like the name is not P, the name is not IMG. So take note. But I've kept them in the images folder. So if you go to our project, you see the two images here. 1, 2. That makes sense, right? Okay. So we have the images in our images folder. So we have that. And we have our website here. Taking shape well, fine. Now we look at the page we are trying to build again. This is the page. So first of all, you know that what tag should we add for this image, this logo here? What tag do you want to use to hold it? Those are the questions you'll be asking yourself. What tag will you use to hold this image here? What will you use to do this displays here? And what will you use to do this? What will you use for this text? And what will you use for this one here? You realize that all these ones are at the top, all right? And then this is here. All these, I'll consider them as one, and I'll consider the one to the right as another one, all right? I'll use an image tag for this. I'll use an ordered list for this, and I'll use a button for this, okay? And I'll use this as a text. I'll make them two separate texts, and then I'll make this text the last one. So follow through. The first one, I'm assuming that we'll come back if we need to do anything else. I'm assuming that the first section, which is, let me add some comments so that you can, oh, I did it, okay. I didn't want to enable this thing today. Let me just, it's worrying me today. Sorry. So I have a div, which is the top one. And that will be, this one is the one holding the top, all of them. And I have an image inside. Remember, and the image, you say that the image needs a source. And it's here and it's called logo. For the sake of just so that we can see what we are doing, let's just make the height and the width some values for now so that it doesn't blow the whole page. And that's just okay. The next thing I said, it should be an ordered list. If you have any question, ask. And inside the ordered list, we have a lead, an li issue. You know, we have home service portfolio block contact. Home. But if they are clickable, then you know that we should put them in an A tag, right? Stop me if you don't understand something.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. And UL tag. What I've learned so far, I think if you want to do something like at the top, we normally put it in a nav tag. Why are we ignoring the nav tag and then using only the UL tag?
Nav is just a div. You get that?
Oh, okay. All right.
Just
Okay.
yeah, so you can add it as well. When we come back to style it, we'll do some refactoring when we are styling. But if you
No
look
problem.
at this, yeah, from a higher level, nothing says it's a nav yet. But you can put it in a nav as well. It should be fine.
Okay.
Home
All right. Thank
service
you.
portfolio block contact. Yeah, you're welcome. Home service portfolio. We have blog and contact. So I'll duplicate these two. That's how I move fast. Blog, contact. All right, we are done adding. Okay, they say the image, we need to add an alt so that when there's no internet, you know what the alt does as it stands now. Any questions so far?
Yeah, right.
Yes, please.
Please, what's the short form for duplication? How are you able to do it?
Okay.
Like shortcut form.
For me, I just can copy and then I'll paste next. That's all.
You paste.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Some people, I think that I have enabled a shortcut, Control D. If you stand on any line, there's a shortcut. You do Control D to duplicate that line, but you can just copy and paste it if you don't have to. That's enabled.
All right. All right.
And so the button on the right is what get in touch. Please, if you want to talk, just jump in and talk. Okay.
Right
Uh,
about the shortcut you're talking of. For the Windows users, there's a shift alt down arrow key. It will also duplicate the
so-
distance downwards.
okay, so you are on the line and then you press what? Shift Alt what?
Shift
Arrow
alt
key.
down arrow. Yeah.
Okay, Shift Alt down arrow. All right, good.
It
Thanks,
also
right?
be command.
Yeah. So seniors, jump in, add anything, subtract anything, add any question, code along if you can. So we have achieved this top already. All right. We have achieved this top. We are adding this text. The argument is that we'll add two texts. Whether you want to use H or whatever you want to use, it's not really, that's the thing about HTML. You can do the thing anyway to still work. So this is the div that is holding all the top elements. So I'll call this an ID a class so that you can understand it. I'll call them top elements or top section. Feel free to do anything. So just so you can understand what I'm doing, right? So I'm going to the bottom section. I'll give it another div. And I'm just giving the class so that you can understand what is happening right now so far. If not, you might not be. So the bottom section, we have these three, this Amelia, Sanchez, and this, that's all. It's a simple website. And then the rest is the image at the background, which you know already. So this, the first one, well, let's say we use H1 for it. And the second one, let's say it's also another H1. Well, just being Amalia is a lazy thing today. But I'm just hoping to refresh your understanding. And the last one, we'll just do paragraph. And then we'll put some break somewhere. That's all. Paragraph. Very good. Hello. Hello. My name is something. My name is Amelasa. Nice to meet you. Would like to welcome you to my personal portfolio. I think that's it. Hello, my name is Amalia Sanchez. Would like to welcome you to my personal portfolio. And we know that there's a break. There's a break there. Say would, sorry. Would like to. The break is after the two. So we can put our break here. So far, you know how to do that. Right, cool. Any questions? If you are not sure what's happening now, as it stands now, we can go open our code in Chrome. This is what we have done so far. Okay. So we've done so far. Any question? I think everyone should be pretty okay with this one.
We are not, some of us are not there yet, so you have to slow down a bit.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. On. You go. You're making a bit of progress. Got it all good?
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
Please, the H1, the Amelia's Sanchez. Can
Yes,
you
sir.
write all within one distance so that you break the
Very
Sanchez
good.
instead
Very,
of
very, Very, very perfect. Very, very perfect. You know, this thing behaves. HTML is quite fun. You can do that and also add a BR here. Yes. So you can do that. You can do this. It work fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Today I'm feeling generous with tags, so I'm just adding plenty tags. Like so, the same question you can also do this. You can do this as 2p tags as well, so that you don't have a BR. Should be fine. Okay. Now HTML structure sorted out at the higher level. At the higher level. All right. Let's do a bit of cleanup. What's the name? Hope said. Because if you look at this design, oh, where is the code? Okay. If you look at the design we are trying to achieve, this is like a nav. So it technically just makes sense that instead of using a div for the whole of this top, we can see it as a navigation bar, right? So here you can change this to nav if you want to, but a nav is also a div, so no worry. But for readability, you can make this a nav. Hope, does that make sense?
Yes, please.
Yes. So for readability sake, because the navigation, I'll make it enough so that everyone understand. And also because this is holding a particular section, you can decide to change this div to a section if you want to. All right, that also works. Problem is also another tag you can use. There's actually no, it's also a div. Okay? So you don't need to worry too much. You can use a div, it's the same result.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right, that being said, we also see from our design that the image at the background, it's applying to everything. You are with me, right? So if we don't figure a way for everything to have to be in one container, we'll have trouble. All right. So for the sake of that, what I'll do is that I'll put all these things, all of them into one container so that I can make their background the image. Does anyone understand that? We'll come to that again. But let's move on. We'll come back to explain that. We own about one now. We need to start styling. We are done with the structure. So let's start styling. So add another file and I'll call it style.css. Any question on that? And then we've been saying that this is the, like Godwin said, this is external styling. So how do we know after adding this, how do you have to link it to the index page, right? So that it knows that that is the star. Does that make sense? So we have added a star. We need to link it to the index page. So we are going to link it. How do? We go to the head tag, right? And then we say link. And then we say it's the relationship is that what? Somebody help is what? Style sheet, right? You can't be coding quietly there. And then how do we link it?
All
All right, good. Are you all here? Are we correct? This means that we have linked our HTML to our style sheet. Everyone good?
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
Please, is it compulsory that the style.css should be underlined? Because I have something that is not underlined. What is the cost?
No, it's not compulsory. It's just that your VS Code will make it underlined so that you can click and go there. But it shouldn't be underlined compulsory. It's just your ID. You see this one is also underlined.
Yes.
It's because it's helping you to go there. So that's why it doesn't need to, it's not compulsory at all.
But if it is not underlined, what can I do so to be underlined?
Oh, that
Also-
one there is your VS Code settings. So don't worry so much about it. You may have some settings some plugins or some things are not installed in your VS Code. But no problem. You shouldn't have any trouble even if it's not underlined.
Okay.
So those who were in Bernard's class, Bernard gave some recommendation that before you start styling, Fred and Bernard gave some recommendation before you start styling. It's advisable to clear all margins before you start styling. Does that make sense? And make sure that everything is back to what? 0. Do you remember? So because of that,
Yeah.
apply, yes, a padding of what?
0.
0, that is. And then a margin of what?
50.
No, into the whole application
0.
before everything is 0. And
Also
there's
zero.
one last, and the last thing,
Box sizing.
Box sizing.
very good. And it says what?
Border box.
Content
Border
box.
Is it content or border?
Border
Border
box.
box.
As a
Border
border
box.
Yeah,
And the
hello.
reason we do this is to do what? Yes, please, we are listening.
Yes, please. That border box something I've been trying to ask. What does it do? What's this function, please?
By default, HTML will default to content box. It's a way of measurement and measuring things on your screen. But if you need to do it border box, it means that it will start measuring everything against the container in which it is rather than against the content in which it is found. So if you do this, you are saying that you want to default every measurement to border box rather than the content box.
I'll get there very soon. For now, I'll take it like that.
Oh yeah, some things have to be learned by just doing it the way they have to be done. So if we do that, you see that everything has gone to the corner of the page. Have you seen that? Before
Yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah.
not at the corner. Yes, But when we do
Okay.
that, everything comes down to the corner.
Border box.
Yes.
That's the purpose of the border box.
No, the border, not that border, but these two guys.
So the margins and yes. Because
Yes.
we are trying to explain border box to who, I was thinking the way you apply the border box to, so I wanted to find out whether that one to, is there an action I can show us that okay, based on the border box, this is how it is
they're
done.
asking that if by default the sizing of each box, each item is a box more or less, the sizing will be the content inside. But immediately you say box sizing, it will start arranging things by the external box that is drawn around the shape. It will start aligning things by that. So
Okay, so it means because the
so you
it won't do
anything. It won't do anything even if you don't do it. But it's just that when you start, you see that it's the same thing. It's your positioning. When you start positioning things, that's where you see the effect. Okay.
So that means that it should try and align the content to suit the box that will be inside. So
Yes.
Okay.
All right. That's the only anomaly or something. Maybe that will be new to you. But then after that, we can start styling. You look at the design. What do we want to style first? At
The background.
Okay, we can want to apply the background. That's fine. So the background, everything else has this background. Are you all with me? Everything else has this background, which means that we need to find a way to give the background to everything, right? Are you with me? Now, there are several ways to do that, but I'm going to do that by putting everything else. I don't want to touch the body, okay? So I'll put everything else into a div. Are you with me? So that I can give the background of that div. Does that make sense to anybody? So because I want to apply the background to all of them, I will provide a div. I'll wrap everything inside a div, okay, this way. And then everything else now will sit inside that div. If only I've made some sense. So I've given a parent div. And I'll class that to call main content. Are you all with me? Any objection? Another approach? How would you have done it?
Please kindly explain the reason behind this.
So the image we see at the background, the image belongs to all of them. It's at the background of all of them. So if you don't find a way to wrap this and this in one, there's no easy way to apply the image on their background. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Exactly. Okay.
Okay.
So
Also, Brad, you say
Mhm.
you don't want to touch the body. Meanwhile, the
Yes,
body
I could have applied the background on the body. Do you understand why I don't want to touch the body?
Where is the body? Let's go to the website. Which part is the body?
The body is this whole page. Anybody can explain? This whole white screen you are seeing is the body.
Oh, okay.
You get, so I could have used the body. So for instance, let's come here. I could have said body, okay? Are you with me? And say background color. Let me say red, so that brown, so that you can see what we are talking about. You see that I've applied a star on the body. Let's go back to our code. You see?
Okay.
So this is the body. Are you with me? Now,
Yes.
the reason I don't want to start the body is that you see the website we are designing, it is behaving as if it's possible that something can be at the down here. Okay, do you see it? Right. So if we made the image the body, means that the whole of the down here all will have that image. Do you get it? But that's not what is happening here. Are you with me? Yeah. So we'll come and continue, but today we are just concentrating on designing this top section. Make sense? Any question? So because of that, I don't want to use the body. Rather, I want to use what? This Dave, which has a class called what? So your mic can be on today unless somebody's in your room will disturb you. But the whole class is what? Main content. So instead of this, I'll make what? The main content. How do we call a class? We say dot what? The name of the class, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, what do I want to do? First, I want to give it a height, okay? And what height do we want to use? I want to use 100 VH. You understand what is the meaning of 100 VH? Who can explain 100 VH?
100 V height.
View height, very good. So which means that if we refresh this screen right now, it will cover from here to what? Here, where the person can see. Does that make sense? Good.
Yeah.
So we have not applied any star yet, so we are not seeing anything. But that box, let's just make sure we can see. So let me say border 2px solid red. Just so you can see it well. Do you see what's happening? You see what's happening? The edge. So that is the 100 VH. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Good. So, but I mean, you know that. So now we need a background image. Is that not it? Use the URL route. Where is it located? This is an image. It's called what? BGPM. If you go, can you see?
Hello.
Yes, please. I can hear you.
Yes, please. When referencing the image, why haven't you brought the dot / before referencing the image?
Oh, you can do that. Yes, you can do that. That's just absolute positioning. No problem. You can do that. It should work fine.
All right. Okay.
It should work fine. Yes. But no problem. It should still work as well.
Right. I think the question was in reference to, your image. Go back, let me see something.
Oh, it will work the same. It's the same route, but it's a thing with absolute path and relative path. So if you say dot, you are explicitly saying that start from this directory. which in essence is also the same as saying images slash that. So the dot will also work. Unless I don't know how it behaves on Windows, but
No, it's the same thing.
the same. Okay. All right. What problem do we need to solve? The image has repeated itself. How do we resolve this problem? If we look at our design, it's not repeated. How do we solve this problem?
No repeat.
No repeat. Very good. Very, very good. So I think it's called what?
Background.
Background repeat.
Please,
Yes.
sorry.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I want to find out
Yes.
when Fred was answering my question earlier, he was making mention of certain things in window, and then I want to find out. Currently, I'm using Windows, so should in case I change my laptop or my machine to a different one, are there certain things that maybe
You change your laptop to
my-
what? You change your
my-
laptop to what?
oh, I say
Your
laptop,
MacBook,
maybe I change my window to maybe a different one,
No, I don't
a
understand that.
different operating system.
You
No,
let
if
it
you're using a
operate.
MacBook, if you have a MacBook, the command should be different. If you have a MacBook, you will not use control. It's called command.
Okay.
Yes. So there's nothing really.
It's not really a big difference. You just have to
Yes,
learn a
there's
few
nothing
new,
really strange about
but
that.
there's no big difference.
I just want to know maybe there's some this thing specified to only certain
Oh no.
No,
operating
there's
systems.
nothing like that.
Your command key will come. Your control key will be my command, and your shift will be my options. So it will just be the same. All right. Yeah. No repeat. Good to go. Right. We have another problem again. How do we solve it? Now, no repeat.
Is your image folder. Drop the arrow down and design. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
So in case your image is not called BP Web PGA, please you find the right name that your image has. If not, you'll be in trouble. All right, we have another small problem. Who can help us? We need the image to stretch the.
I think we can do cover.
I saw the big J dots. I thought.
I think it's called background. It should be a cover. I know it should be cover, but I'm not sure. What do we call it? Size. Okay. Cover. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Bingo. We're good? Thank you.
Hello. Please, in what instance do you use the background position?
I'm not sure, but we can try that and see. I'm not sure, but all the options here should mean that you cannot do cover. You have to align them relatively to something. So I'm not sure it'll be a good use. You either position it bottom, I think either bottom, left, right, or top. So if you need to do something like that, then
all right, okay.
All right. People to play around with the rest. Right now, we don't need this border, right? Let me take it out so that we are here. Good. Any questions so far? Thanks for the contribution. We are making sense.
Right, please let me ask a question.
Please ask.
Before opening the bracket, at what point do you use the dot, and at what point do you use the star?
Okay. All right. Cool. If you want to select everything, we use star. Are you getting me? So this means that everything on the page, everything on your page is going to be affected by this style that is inside here. Okay. Anytime you use a class, you need a dot. So if you see here, this, because the name here is class, we need to do that. Okay. If you use an ID, then you have to use a hash. Okay. If you use an ID, then you have to use a hash to select it. Does that make sense? You good? Does that make sense?
It's technical.
Yes, it is. it is. It is. Yeah, but this you rarely will
Right.
do this. You rarely
It's
do
okay.
this. You don't want to target everything except for this. You don't really want to target everything. It's not advisable. Only it will only apply maybe in this case. But most times you'll be doing this, and other times you'll be selecting them by their name directly, like this. Other than that, or you use a hash, which is the ID of the element. Make sense? Ask your question. All right.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. And the reason why I asked the question concerning the background position, I
Mhm.
think during one of our classes we used the background position, and then the value we gave it was center. That's why I'm
Uh,
asking.
yes, yes. So that's the thing. Like you want the image to be in the middle, just the middle. You want to center the image. Cover
Okay,
means that
all right.
you fill, yeah, cover means you should fill the whole container.
Oh, okay, all right, okay, all right.
And don't be scared. CSS and HTML, I bet. So that's why, in actual sense, truth be told, what you have done so far, you know, you are not programming. You know that, right? You know that right now you are not programming. What you are doing, technically, we call it scripting.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's loose. HTML and CSS, they are loose. A lot of things work. In some ways, you might not even understand them fully. But when you start writing other programming languages, they are more stricter than this. The code you have written is not compiled, it's just interpreted. So you have just, it's just a script that is read. Cool. Bingo. We are making progress. Now, let's take this. Now, let's concentrate on doing the top, right? Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's see. So far what we've done, we have splitted the top container into two, the left side and the right side. Okay. So if you look at our code in our HTML, we have what? We have actually splitted them into three, right? We have 1, 2, 3. Are you all with me? So we have three, we have splitted them into three. Does that make sense? If you look at what we've done so far. Okay. Now, if you want to, by default, HTML elements are block elements. If you want to change the block alignment, what do you do?
You use the anchor tag.
Okay, not for this one. Let's say you see the whole nav here right now. You see that if you look at our page, the code we are writing, each of them is in one line, each of them is in one line, each of them is in one line. So we say HTML is a block element. If you want to make them move, instead of being one line, to move against each other, what do you approach that? Anyone with any idea?
The display grid.
Display flex, exactly. So
Display
use a
flex.
grid display. So it means that you start what? You start your nav. Is that not it? You change the display of your nav, what you want to move in that line. And you know the nav is a class. So you apply this class here, okay? And they say the display is what?
Flex.
Let's.
Can actually use. So if I do this, it means that I'm moving the elements. You see the way that I have aligned. Have you seen it now? Are you with me? Are you getting the whole thing? Are you with me?
Yeah.
Good. We are going. What else should we do? Again, let's also make sure that these dots are not here, right? And we also display them flex as well, right? So that they also move against each other. Does that make sense? Good. How do you approach that? If you go inside the top selection, you can move to another element called the UL, isn't it? Come here. You see that this is the top selection, okay? The element that contains that one is inside what? The UL. Is that not it? Are you with me? Are you with me? From top, we can come to the UL. And then you can also change the display. You can do the flex or inline as well. Inline will also solve your problem. If it's a display inline, all of a sudden, oh, have we targeted it? Come on, let me try the flex. Do. Yeah, okay, the flex works. So we have also said that instead of, we have made the display for our top section flex, and we have also display our ULs to be flex. Any question on that? Any question?
Right.
Yes, please. Yeah, I'm listening. Please come.
Is it going to have an effect?
If you take the first one, which one?
The top section.
The top section. If you take it out, come. What you
Section.
mean when you say take it out? You mean
Yep.
we remove the display flex?
Yes.
If you remove it, then it will not work the way you want it, because if you do that, you are literally not. You see what you have done?
Right. What it meant is that with the display flex, can't we square it so that maybe to move direct to the horizontal axis?
So there are two things. Watch here
Is in
carefully.
my
Let's
nature.
go over that again. You see the nav. Can you all see the nav?
Yeah.
You need the three elements inside the nav to be displayed horizontally. Is that not it? So the top section must be display flex. And now you need also the elements, the children of the UL, to also display flex, isn't it? So you need, the flex must be applied on the top so that these guys are horizontal. The three of them are horizontal. And the same way, this one must also be horizontal. Is that not it? Look at the design. You look at the design, you see, you need to move them horizontally. And also when you come to these items here too, you must also move them also what? Horizontally as well, isn't it? If not, you move this horizontal, but these items will be vertical. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's what we are finding at two levels, yes. So you have applied it on the nav, which is the first one. Then you're also applying it on the element inside it. Does that make sense now?
So I was asking, why won't you do all in one class?
How will you do it?
Creating class for the first one, that's the top section. You made a display flex and create another class which include a UL. And I was asking.
Yes, but if you approach this way, if you approach this way, okay. If you do this,
Okay.
Which means that what you are saying is that if I need to apply another style again, I won't be able to apply because it will affect both of them.
So does it mean the class top section does not affect the UL?
it affects each children. Look at the HTML. The children of the top section is what? IMG, UL, and Dave. Can you see that?
Okay.
It doesn't affect its grandchildren. Do you get that?
Okay. Okay.
Are you okay? Are you sure?
Yeah. So meaning if you are going to create class to make the UL horizontal, you have to add the UL to the top section at the style.
Okay. So first, the display flex, it will affect only the children of the container. The children in the container. And where are the children? Let me collapse it. You see the children. The children is what? IMG, UL, and Dave. Do you get that?
Mm-hmm.
The children of top section is what? IMG, UL, and what? The Dave. Are you with us? Do you get that?
Yes, please.
Good. And then, so if you apply it on the child, it does not mean you're applying it on the grandchild. Okay. If your father leaves some inheritance for you, if you don't pass it on to your children, they won't get it. Do you get it?
Mm-hmm. So meaning if you create a class, the top section, and then you wanted to make the UL horizontal, and then you did not add the UL at the class, meaning it is not going to have effect on them.
I don't want you to understand it that way. No, I don't want you to understand it. The general rule is that, okay, you are displaying, each of these things are boxes, okay? The IMG is a box, the UL is a box, and the Dave is also a box. You get that, right? Are you with us? And those boxes were originally displayed vertically. Are you with me?
Okay. Mm.
And you want to display them horizontally. So you apply display flex on the top section so that you can display them horizontally. Now you have done that. Let's take this step so that you get it very, very well. Stay with me, okay? If you get it, you'll be okay. Now this I've written here is very complicated. What I've written here means that whatever style is on line 16, are you with me?
Mm-hmm.
To apply to this first part, are you with me?
Yes, please.
And also apply on the second part. This is complex CSS. I don't want you to get confused by that. That's why I've separated them into two. Are you with me? Like this. Ideally, this is the same. But what this is meaning here is that, okay, let's make sure, let's say border 2px solid red. Okay, are you with me?
Yeah.
And then we have this blue. Let's look at our page again. Have you seen? Can you see what's happening here right now? Okay.
Yes,
so you
please.
see that the top section is the one with the red one. So it's going to display flex the three boxes inside it. Okay. But at that time, when this happens, let me just cut this. When this happens, initially, this guy will still be in this direction. The blue be in this direction. Are you getting it?
Mm-hmm.
Are you all with me?
Yes.
Now you want to force this one to also go in the blue one to also go in this direction now. Are you with me? Hence, how do you target the UL? I targeted it by saying what? Top section, which means that it is inside top section. Are you with me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm targeting the UL that is inside what? The top section. And I'm saying its children should be displayed what?
Vertical.
Yes.
Horizontal.
Yes. Which other way would we have done it? Instead of using top section, I can also use what? I can also say here nav instead of top section, right? I can do this as well.
Go back to your HTML. Let me see.
Very good. I can do this as well. Yes, I can do that instead of saying top section.
Okay, yeah, you can use nav.
Exactly. So don't be confused that I use top section twice. No, I'm just being consistent. Any question?
So I was thinking, why didn't you apply all in the
Okay, or the display flex.
First,
Oh, if you apply just here, it won't affect the
Mhm.
grandchildren.
That is what I was trying to.
Yeah, it won't affect the grandchildren. If you just apply it, it won't affect the grandchildren. Any questions so far? So here, this is the result here now. You have this.
Can you,
Yes,
but,
please.
but we see it. Like, let's apply only to one and see.
And we've
I
done
think
that
he
too.
did.
So
He
see,
did that
this,
earlier.
if you remove this right now, if you remove this is what you have. Can you see
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want the home service and portfolio also to go in what? The horizontal direction. Do you get it? So you have
Horizontal
so you have
direction.
to also
Okay.
do that one so as well. Make sense?
Sure.
But I was thinking that because the top session was on the nav container, and the nav container included the parents and the children. If you just call, well, shouldn't it, if you call the nav the top session at the nav, we control the parents. If
It should affect everything. It should affect everything inside.
So why is it not affecting?
All right, it doesn't. So you see what I said. I said it subtly, but maybe you guys are taking it lightly. HTML, okay, programming. Programming in general. Are you guys all listening? Programming in general is called object oriented. It behaves like the human world. Are you with me? They don't violate what happens in life. The argument here is that if you inherit something from your father, it does not mean that automatically your children will inherit it. You have to pass it on to your children. Does that make sense? So it won't happen automatically.
Okay. But sometimes when the father dies, you can just take over.
You are in a lucky family.
In this case, the CSS, the father is not dead.
Yeah. So that's why it's behaving that way. So
okay, so that means that the other rule is that in HTML and CSS, if there's you do probably you put in a class on the container that is for both the
it affects the children, not the grandchildren. Yes.
It just affects one unless you want to
affect the children, not one, but the children. You see, all the children. See, this is one child. Okay, this is another child. Okay, this is another child. But the child in this case is the UL, not the LI. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Hope we have all learned something about that today. And then also, okay, I've deleted my thing. There's something we also want to make. There are several ways to do this, but just use this one. Let's try this one. If you want to make we call it the list style. So the style of the list that is inside. So we know the LIs have some decorations against it. So you see the dot, dot, dot. I can let it vanish by saying list style is equal to none. Are you with me? You see that there was a dot, dot against them. You remember?
Okay.
If I say the list style equals none, it will vanish. All of the dots will go away.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Now, you know why the underline is there? Because of the anchor tag. You are with me, right? But we'll deal with that later. The A tag is what is giving the underline. You are with me, right?
Yeah.
Let's deal with the bigger problem. The bigger problem here is what? one is all the way to the right, another one is all the way to the left, right? Let's deal with that problem first. Any questions so far? Okay, let me give some border here so that we can clearly see 2px solid red, so that we see the situation at hand. You have been taught this, so but then let's go over. See, the box is all over to the end here, but the content is just at the left side. What do we do? After display flex, there's something you can do to make it fill the whole container. What do we do?
I think we give justify content with a space between and then give a gap.
Justify content. Anyway, so justify content, we do what? Space between, right?
Space between, yes.
Then that will automatically force all of them to be what? Spaced out. Have you seen it? Good?
Good. Yeah.
You are with us. What's
Yes.
the big problem we have now?
There's
Separate. And for now, we have to give a gap. The UL distance.
Would the gap solve the problem? For the UL, right? For the UL.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the UL, right?
For
So
the
you are
UL,
saying that
yes, the UL we have to give,
right?
yes.
Gap, okay. And then we can give some value, let's say for now, right? So that we can give some space between. Very good. So we have done this. So we have achieved that. Very good. Well, we have another big problem. Do you understand up to this point? We have a big problem. Who can identify the problem? Look at this. And then you tell me the problem we have to solve. Look at this and see where we are. Just the top, just the problem with the top.
Yeah.
Let's think harder.
I think the size of the logo compared to the original this
Okay,
thing.
this is all right. So you mean that the size is bigger?
Yeah.
So you should
And the
reduce it a bit.
distance between the logo and the text.
That is the problem. That's the main problem you have to solve. Do you understand that? See, from here all the way to this place is too big, right? How do we solve that problem? This is where I want to see your reasoning and your programming minds. Please, the floor is open. How do we solve that problem? We'll make you class prepared if you solve it.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Please let me try it.
Attempt, senior.
Okay. Please, first of all, I think maybe for me, I will add border around the, let's say the nav elements.
The nav element.
And then
border.
And then give it a gap.
So the nav element is the top section.
Not the nav. I mean the one holding the. Please go to your HTML. Let me see something.
Okay, good.
The one holding the one holding the UL.
This one.
Yes.
You'll give it what?
Yeah. That okay. That would be the top section. Then the UL. So I'll give a border to it and then force it and give it a gap. Then after that, I'll give it some margin. I think that will.
So you are saying that we should give a border to the UL.
Yeah.
Okay, you guide us through. So this is the UL. Okay.
Yes.
First of all, let's remove. We don't need this border now. Right?
I mean, yeah, the second one, the top section contain the UL. So you give it a border.
So give it a border. So we'll come step. Yes, we have this.
Yes. So to force it to have some space, we give it a gap.
We already have gap. So let's increase the gap.
Probably.
Okay, let's increase it and see. We can increase it more. Let me increase it again and see. we can increase it again.
If that is the desired space you want, I think that'll be fine.
You have seen the desired space.
Something else must be done, not giving the
Okay,
gap.
I like
that's my
I
approach.
like
That's
the
my
way.
approach.
No, I like the way you are thinking, but just that you are creating another problem. But that's actually smart. So, so once we increase the space, we'll get to a point where it will move all the way to the left, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So fine. Yeah. So, but you have created another problem.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Good. But I like the way. I like the way.
I was thinking.
Yes. Good.
I was thinking. You
Okay,
align.
I was all right.
You align. That section to the left of the logo.
Okay. So this one to the left of the logo. This to move it to the left side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's come to something. That's a good way to think about it. So what I will do is that I'll make these two guys one. Are you with me? Right. Are you with me?
Yeah.
It's seeing them as three elements, so the spacing of the gap is pushing all of them out equally. But I'll make these two guys one, so that the justified space between is only between this and this. Have you gotten the hack?
Please come again.
Okay. Now you have three elements in the top section. Okay. So if you say, oh, sorry. So if you say that the top section should be space between, you are saying that it should space between the three elements. Are you with me? But if there are only two elements, it will space between just the two, right?
Okay.
So, but how do you force it? By making these two guys what? One, so that they can all go to the left side. Are you with me?
Okay.
So how do I do that? I'll quickly just make a div. You see, I'll make a div, okay? And I'll put both of them inside. So how many children does top section have? Two. Problem solved. But you have one problem to solve again. Does that make sense? Are you with Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now I've added an extra div, okay? And I give it a class. I'm going to call it left section, okay? Are you with me? So what has happened is that we have solved the problem all right, but the left section is not displayed flex. Are you with me? So in my style here, I need to apply to the top section and to the left section a display what? Have you seen flex? Too much for today. But I'm sure you have understood CSS better today. Right. So we've just broken this down, one element, and then the second one is the other element, which is the button. So we have all this, the image and the UL in one element, and then another element here, so that the top section has only two elements. So when we tell the top section that it should flex and space between, automatically all the space will only be between these two guys. So the space now is between, the whole of this is one and the whole of this is one. So what's happening now is that if you go to, if you look at top section, the left section, and you see a border 2px solid red. If you do this, you see that you have, yeah, so this is one box, okay, and the rest of this is also another box, and so the space is between this box and the other box. So the space is between this box and this other box, which is the so the left section, and then the button, which we have not styled yet, this one. That's where the space. So we can actually give this guy, and I'll call it right section. So we have only two elements now. So the space is only lying in between the left section. We don't need any the right section. Just trying to show you this well. Hopefully you can start from top section as well. Apply to target direction. So two things on the screen. There's a left and there's a right. And the left is, so the space is between just the two of the boxes. And by that we will solve our problem. All we need to do now is, hopefully, like someone said, add some padding or margin. So let's say margin left, which is, let's say, let me say 50 px. Margin right 50 px, so that we can achieve some gap. So over here we have some, so yes, some space to the left and some to the right, or we can apply the margin. But if you look at our coding, there's some space to the left and there's some space to the right. That's what I have just achieved. All of a sudden, we really don't need this for now. So we can see that they are properly aligned. Now we have we can have the right to start all of them properly anytime. We can also, so literally, can just use some padding to all of them. No, I don't think my padding has worked. We'll come back to that. But that's how we achieve our problem. The next thing we'll do is just to remove the underlining and start the button properly. But in terms of positionings we have done, let me just make sure that we can style these things like you know how to start them already. Let's style our button. Let's see our font size is 24. We are just adding this to our button a bit, this one. All right. Primarily, that's just the main job to be done. For today, just styling this button a bit, and I've increased the font size to 24. I would also do the same font size for top section, I want to target. I'm targeting this guy so that I can style them. So I'm going to top section. I'll come to left section and I'll come to the A inside here. I'll make the fonts as big as that. Yes, as big as this. Just make the font bigger a bit. Hello, and you remove.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Please go to the CSS. Let me ask some question, please.
Yes. For example.
Yes, please. Concerning the top section, the left section, and then the anchor tag. Yeah, instead of bringing the anchor tag, can you bring the UL and to have the same effect on the elements?
On the text.
Yes.
So
Please.
instead of an A, you bring the UL.
Yes, please.
You can do that as well, but what I'm thinking about is that I want to also remove the text decoration. That's why I targeted the A directly. Okay.
Okay.
I'll do more than what is here. So I want to remove. You see, I want to remove the underline as well using the same style. That's why I haven't
Okay.
targeted.
So please. Okay, please. In the case that you targeted only in the UL, what would have been the effect?
You can't apply a text decoration on a UL.
Okay.
A UL is not a text. You see.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I targeted the A directly, so that I can deal with it. And okay, if you see my styling, I like to target the element directly. The reason being that if you target at a higher level, if your code starts growing, you see that some of your CSS will now be affecting some things and you don't know where that is happening from. So I like to target the element directly. I will trace it all the way down. That's why I like doing that. For no reason. Yeah, so generally, if you want to do something like this is how you would approach something. Ideally, I would have also moved. I don't like doing height and things inside here. I don't prefer that. I would have actually targeted the image in my CSS. I prefer to do that. I hope you get that as well. I actually prefer to do styles in my CSS rather than, so I would preferably not even target images in my HTML. I will actually target them here. Because my thinking is that my HTML is purely for the structure. So instead of styling it here, I'll go and style it. So you see, I've removed my height from the image here and I move it to the CSS. That's what I would do. So you see that I've targeted the top section and I look for the image inside. And I can do more here than I have done there. All right. All right. It's a lot of things here. Just play around there. I'll share the page with you. You can play around with it. I'll also share the code with you as well. You can look at it. Any question? If there are no questions, we've done a lot already.
Hello.
Right. Please go back
Yes,
to your
boss.
browser. I've noticed something. Let me point it out. Okay, the space between the logo, the star, and then the UL. I think wider than this one.
Yes, if you look at our design, it's actually easy, you see. So
Okay.
I've already made provision. Have you seen this value? If I increase this value right now, I'll go wider. You see. I've already made provision for that. You just need to play with, you see.
Okay.
You just need to play with the value because I've targeted this image and I've given it a margin right. So to push anything here a bit. So that's what is happening here, you see. Any question? If there are no questions, call it.
I have a question.
Yes, please ask.
So please, let's go to the original. So
Yes,
assuming this image,
yeah,
under the test, the
Mhm.
final. So assuming the image has covered so much, and I need some margin up to where the test ends. The portfolio.
You mean here? You mean here?
Yes, yes.
Mm.
Can you guide me how to?
So this, you mean this text,
the
right?
image to? No, like the background image.
Yes, the background image is filling the whole screen. Yes.
Yes, but on a separate, I'm having some challenge with my previous design, which is the one loop dot.
Yes.
So I just want to use this opportunity to use as an example. So if my image has covered, and I
assuming
need
that the
up
image,
to the point
assuming
where,
the image hasn't come all
the
the way
portfolio
down here.
is.
Assuming the image hasn't come all the way down here. Oh, so that what you do is that you see that you said here that is 100 VH, right? If it hasn't go, it should not be 100. It shouldn't. Like what we've done, we are saying it should fill the whole width. But if we don't do, you see, it shouldn't go all the way up. It will cut it off on the way. So if you don't want the image to go all the way up, then you don't want it to, you cut it on the way. So our 100 is what is making the image go all the way down. I don't know if that makes sense. And then again, so our 100 is making the image go from top all the way down. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you play with that,
but I need space down.
You need space down here.
Yes.
So don't let the image be 100.
So I should play with that value.
Yes, that value to earn it on the way.
Okay.
Yes.
To
earn it on the way. And I've been doing some unnecessary styling here. Instead of trying to
I was playing with margin and but I'm not getting it right.
It won't give you the effect you are looking for. It won't give you the effect you are looking for. Instead of me doing all these things here and stressing, I would have applied padding here on the image, so everything that is inside the page will take this effect rather. So that every content in the page takes that effect rather. Perhaps everything rather than doing it one. So anyway you want to do it, but you just play with the values and see. Right, if I have no question again. Yeah, so generally that's it. Now you just move this thing down, the text down here, that's all. And then if I want to continue this, I'll give some great styles to deepen this image a bit. So for instance, I would darken the image a bit. There's a lot of things you can play with. If I try this
after buffing,
I can
so just take
of this. So you can do a lot more. Just play around with a lot. But what we established today, the VH is what is controlling the height. And the most important thing you would have taken away is targeting the element today. You can target them by giving them classes or looking for the element, giving them ID and going as deep as you want to go. But generally, that's the only work that is left is to start this at the left side. and the rest to fall in place. This is also still clickable. You can do more. All we need to do is style this a bit. That's all. All right, cool. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I think I have the recording, so if you want to go over it.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay, please. I think this is private. I was doing something and I was facing some challenge. I don't know if I can stay behind so that you look through for me.
Sure. I can do that.